Hey everyone, it's Ivan with KitBadger.com, here to bring you another gear review, and today talking about this guy right here, which is the Turnkey M4 Chest Rig, as well as the Pimps Omni Bag by Whiskey 24. If you're unfamiliar with Whiskey 24, they make a whole huge line of web gear, things along those lines. They also OEM for a lot of companies too. Pretty large operation as far as the scale of stuff they can make. But one of the things they do make, obviously, chest rigs, and they have a number of turnkey chest rigs. What do I mean by turnkey? I mean turnkey. It comes with all of the things. Of course, you can, if you want, buy everything a la carte. So this one is their Turnkey 01 chest rig, I believe it is, M4. So made for M4 magazines. Across the front, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 M4 pouches, and down at the bottom they're actually open, which is nice in the sense that if you get stuff in there you don't want in there, it'll actually come out, like rocks, gravel, if you drop into the prone, things along those lines getting up. But it'll also fit obviously pretty much anything else kind of form factor size wise as M4 magazine, whether you want to jam like a tourniquet down in there or pressure dressing, something along those lines. And back to the idea of this being the 01, basically that is kind of in reference to some of this stuff as far as the actual harness in that, as I untangle this, they make a couple different harnesses. This is one of the simpler ones, kind of like H style, and it clips in here. And then down here, there is another strap, basically kind of the waist strap, it clips in. Again, everything modular, everything you can take apart, get a la carte. And as I mentioned, while this is something separate and it can be used in a number of different ways depending on how you want to attach it, I basically have these set up in unison, and this is how I have been running this. To put this thing on, you'll have it attached on those 3 pieces, and then you also obviously want one side attached. If you are wearing a hood, save yourself the trouble, throw the hood on beforehand. So this will go over it. Throw it on like that. Grab your top piece, clip that in. And then this strap here. And you're good to go. You now have your chest rig on, and I happen to have this Omni Pouch, so I have that on as well. And you can adjust all these different points. I usually keep it adjusted to where I'll have kind of a looser end over on one side. I'll go ahead and you can, of course, cut these. Once you cut them, can't really go back. So what I like to do is just kind of size it roughly to what I need it to be, and then I'll secure it with some pieces of bike inner tube cut up on that 1-inch webbing, keep it there. And then over on this side, same with this one back here, kind of have enough room to play with, so as I start scaling up layers, I can extend this out, loosen it some if I need to, or of course tighten it down, kind of figure out kind of the sweet spot with respect to scaling layers depending on your paradigm. Briefly on magazines, obviously this size for M4 magazines, this being the Turnkey M4 Chest Rig, does a good job. I haven't had any issues whatsoever as far as retention wise of one being like too much retention or it being too loose and things coming out. If you're to take this upside down with full mags and like shake it, mags might come out, I don't know. I would also be curious why you were upside down, like having your whole body shaken. So normal use, no. Are you gonna wanna parachute in with this? Probably not. Probably a better solution for that with like some sort of way to secure these rather than just the tension that's on there. But it holds pretty much everything, whether Magpul P mags, USGI mags, or like Tango Down, any of those other magazines. And it does a good job when you actually want to pull them out. You can pull them straight up or even kind of out some and they'll come out for you. Putting them back in, reholstering your magazines, I guess. Any pouch like this, whether it's this or like Blue Force gear, any of those, it's not as easy as something that is rigid and open. You might need to pull it out some, or if you're gonna do it one-handed, you'll kind of get it started, jam it in, and it'll work. I know some people like to be able to shove them right back in. time and opportunity. Like, is that really an important factor? I don't know. I actually personally like that when magazines are removed, this will actually lay like flatter, so I don't have something rigid sticking out, especially when you start going into the pro and stuff along those lines. As far as these mag pouches and other magazines, I have used them with other kind of non-standard like AR magazines. Actually ran a night vision class, was shooting a high point, kept these guys in there like that. I also had pistol mags, which I had in there too. Ideal? No. Like tons of retention? Absolutely not. As long as you stay upright, or for that matter, don't end up inverted, they stay in place. Best practice? No, but it can absolutely work in that fashion. To the ends of use, I've absolutely put some time in with this. Probably had it coming on 2 years now. My first experience was actually running it in a level 2 carbine course with Rune Nation. I was shooting a pistol made by Radical Firearms, chambered in 7.62 by 39. A little bit shorter magazines, a little more curved, and yeah, it did great. Ran it through that entire course. I've also used this in a number of just range outings, getting some reps in, some just going through working basically mag changes with some 20 round magazines, which this does work with. And while you can make this work actually with 20 round AR magazines, they do specifically make one for 20 round AR magazines, in which case the mag pouch is actually just smaller. So you shove it all the way in, but you still have plenty of purchase if you're going to be using 20 round magazines. I then use the same chest rig at the America match. Put on locally here, really fun. It was a carbine only course, and yeah, running all through that course using this chest rig. And most recently, used it again. I was shooting a night vision course with Bill Rapier of Amtac Shooting, and in that, definitely kind of using it outside of its scope. While I do make one specifically for like sub guns, essentially like narrower slots for like sub gun magazines, I made it work with my high point. The Omni Pouch on here is incredibly modular. You can basically turn it into essentially a chest rig, depending on how you want to rig it, or a fanny pack, all kinds of different options. Right now, I've basically set up as a pouch that hangs down from this chest rig. The way I use it, well, you can obviously put anything in it, is I have it set up for med supplies. So in here, I have some shears, and I also have a number of medical supplies, should something unfortunate happen. And it's kind of nice having it set up right here because all of this stuff is right here. I have access to it in that if I need to go actually put in some work on someone because something bad happened, I can kneel down right there and everything's right here, access to me. I know there's different schools of thought with respect to med kits as far as being able to tear them off and pass them to someone, something along those lines. Yes, this is not that, but it also serves a huge variety of purposes beyond obviously just a med kit. You can put anything you want in here, comms equipment, extra batteries, snacks, whatever it may be. Some of the things I really appreciate about Whiskey 2.4 and both this Turnkey Chest Rig as well as this Omni Bag is flexibility. So down here, these pieces, you can obviously move this hardware down to this. And so rather than this chest rig being up where it is, essentially you now have essentially a chest rig composed of this bag. If you just need to carry things, something along those lines. You can also, depending on what you want to attach here, turn this into a fanny pack, things along those lines. This right here, being the back of the chest rig, you have this panel you can pull off. In doing so, basically it exposes this hook Velcro behind it, and same with this. You can pull this down to remove this from the chest rig. What this also allows is if you have a plate carrier that has hook in front of your plate carrier, you can affix this directly to it and then further secure it using the straps like that, which is pretty nice. This flap right here actually nests inside of itself. By opening this up, you can actually put this flap back in here and seal it down. And now you have the flexibility of adding this to other pieces. But if you're not going to use it, it can go ahead and stay in there. And the way this is cut through here, obviously, it'll basically line up with any type of PALS webbing if you want to direct mount this on another piece of gear. On this pouch, there's two zippers. They go down about halfway on each side. And inside, you actually have loop along one side as well as loop along this side as well. Comes with these panels inside. I keep one covered and basically just make a little opening so I can keep trauma shears in there. It's pretty handy. And then while this is kind of an abbreviated blowout kit, keep everything kind of loose in there, just basically sandwiched together like that. So if need be, I can pull it out and go through whether I need actual gauze dressing or Celox or any of the other things right there. Again, pretty much wide open. And with this loop inside there, you can put any type of other attachments you want, as far as something with elastic bands in here if you want to actually have magazines, flashlights, multi-tools, any type of organizing you want done inside of this pouch. The material both these are made out of is Whiskey 2.4's acronym, stands for Advanced Composite Rugged Optimized Nylon Material. Basically, this laminated fabric, it is solution dyed for multicam or any of the other colors it comes in, and as I mentioned, laser cut. In addition to that, it actually uses, like for this right here, for example, a 5-inch wide military standard elastic for securely holding the magazines. As far as the actual Turnkey Chest Rig, the 01 Chest Rig, weight-wise, it's about 14.8 ounces minus this Omni Pouch. Whereas the Omni Pouch itself, slick, without anything in it, weighs just under 6 ounces. Price-wise for the Turnkey M4 Chest Rig, again with the H-harness as well as that waist strap, runs about 60 bucks. And then the Omni Bag, you can get it, again, a la carte by itself. I think it runs about 49 bucks. And with that Velcro piece, you can use it for anything. As I have it here attached to this chest rig, you can also basically have it hanging from plate carrier if you have Velcro field up front, or can obviously now, if I wanted to, remove this harness from the chest rig, attach to that. Now I have that bag. Again, open up the door for pretty much any type of use, or run as a shoulder strap or a shoulder bag, fanny pack, anything like that. I definitely appreciate kind of the thought Whiskey 2.4 goes into with respect to their designs as far as just modularity and being able to kind of use a piece in different various ways. Again, going back to like Velcro fields, the fact that I can put this straight onto a plate carrier and have it secure, and then of course if I want to, like, secure it again with straps, but tons and tons of modularity. In addition to that, everything, all this stuff rather, from Whiskey 2.4, US materials made here in the US, which is pretty rad. If you haven't ever checked them out, go over, see what they have. They have tons of stuff over there. And yeah, this is just kind of one of the samplings that I've put some miles on. But as always, thanks for joining us at kitbadger.com. Look forward to seeing you next time.